Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's been another, unfortunately, semi-unproductive week in the workshop. I had ordered a new airbrush compressor that came in earlier in the week, got it set up. It's just like my old one. Actually, I think it's just a little bit quieter, but it's probably because it's brand new. And I've used it a couple times already. The flying wings are, they're at least in gloss black paint. Well, one of them is completely in gloss. The other one behind me here, this is the YB49. That one, just the top surface is gloss black right now. I still have to flip it over and do the bottom side. And that's the second one I painted. I did the XB35 first. And I wasn't as smart when I did that. So what I was doing, I usually keep a latex glove in my left hand as I'm airbrushing with my right. So with that one, I was holding it from one wing tip and then, spraying all of one side and then spraying all of the other side, except that one wing tip. Well, now what do? You can't grab the other wingtip, flip it over, and do that because it's still wet. So that one is hanging from a wingtip in the middle of the room, drying. I got a little bit smarter when I did the next one and decided I would do all of the upper surface first, let it dry, then I could do all of the bottom surface. And another problem I've had, it's not a problem, you got to work around it. An issue I've had is that my spray booth isn't wide enough for these wings. So I got to kind of hold it in front of the spray booth opening so that the vacuum can draw those paint fumes and overspray away. So I'm not getting it all over my workshop. But it's a challenge because you got to think a few different ways to make sure that you're in the proper position. Kind of like when you're hand holding a camera and trying to film something. You got to make sure you're in the zone with it. Anyway, so there's not much to show on these. And then the USACC build. I did get a little bit of work done on that. That's been another slow process because I'm trying to do things that I have never done before. I've cut the trunk lid out. I've cut the doors out. I've gone back and forth with how to assemble each of those and make them functional. I'll tell you what. Let me move the camera and I'll show you what I've done so far with the USACC build. All right, hold on. Okay, like I said, it's been a little bit of an unproductive week for me. I have difficulty during the week after work getting up here and really getting anything done because the first thing I do is I check my emails for the day, and then sometimes I get onto YouTube and I'm watching other guys' videos, and I usually only really have 2.5, 3 hours in the evening before I need to get to bed where I can get anything done. And if I get started on something and really get focused on doing that, time will pass me by and I'll be a couple hours after my bedtime. And I got to be careful with that because I drive every day for a living, so I need to be awake and alert and make sure I get good sleep. So yeah, during the week, I just don't get much done up here. So my Saturdays and Sundays, generally I spend quite a bit more time up here in the shop. I try to spend at least one full day of those 2 days up here. But, hey, I'm a single guy. I still got laundry and house cleaning and groceries and you name it. So it's a struggle. Anyhow, so the trunk lid, we had it off last week. I did finish gluing in my drip rail all the way around. We got our rear bumper glued in. I don't know what this is not focusing because it's too close. Anyway, and then, you know, we had to cut away this section of the tail to glue it to the trunk lid itself, because it's actually part of the trunk lid. It wasn't molded that way. It was molded as separate pieces, but because we're opening it, we had to make that modification. All right, so now I'm at the point where I need to make my hinging for it. And that's, I mean, that won't take too long. I've already figured out how to do it. I just have to actually do it. So, and you can see I've got some primer on some of the interior parts. My seats are primered. I might probably go back in with my scribe and make some of these lines a little deeper, a little more pronounced for the seats, as well as the back seats. This is just mocked up. Nothing's glued in place right now. So here is passenger door. And then if you look to the inside, the door card is also just kind of taped in place, and it's not even accurate right now. But the one thing I was able to work on, work on, but is not yet complete, is the open edges of the door opening on the car side. So both of those are now filled over, but I'm still struggling with how to figure out how I'm going to do that on the front portion, and then make the hinges for that as well. And I don't know if you can see through, but you know, there's a bit of a gap between this inner door card and where I cut it away from the interior structure. I cut out a little bit more of that just to make sure that when I get it hinged, I don't have any interference on the interior side so that it shuts properly. And you can see this door card isn't really lined up straight. It's a little higher on this end than the back end, so it's not fitting in the opening properly at the back. So that's still something I need to work on, you know, where I've filled that end in on both sides. But, you know, even on here, I've got a bit of a gap with the remainder that's already in place on the interior. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe what I might need to do is actually cut away the rear section of the floor pan that has the rear seat and the interior sidewalls, and maybe glue that in to start so I can get these door jambs completed. I don't know. I'm still trying to think that out. It's complicated. This is not an easy process to figure out. There's a lot of little things that have to be done in order to make it work properly. So, and you can see I've got the chassis has been primed. I worked on trying to remove the raised copyright information that's there. What else? Let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at with the body at this point. The dash is primed. I've added some filler in here because there's quite a bit of a step between this portion of the dash. Of course, that gets covered by the window, but there's a line right there where the dashboard itself attaches to this piece. So I've had to add some filler in there. That's still drying, and then I'll sand it out and try to smooth it better. So that's that. We got our seats, like I said. The other thing, and you can see through the back window here on the package shelf, there are molded in speakers, rectangular speakers, but I'm gonna end up using, I've got these Detail Master speaker grills, and I'm gonna use the oval ones. So it's got the rectangular as well, But I'm going to use the 6x9 oval speakers on there in place of what was molded in. I just think it'll look a little better. So that's a little, day 2 kind of modification. He's got some better speakers in his car. So, yeah. What else can I show you? Of course, the engine, I still have to do my ignition wiring, and I've had a few more of those fall off recently, so I can't drill the distributor out well enough, even with the micro drills I have, to get my wires in there, and that's why they keep falling off. So they're barely into those holes, and then I've got super glue, but like I said, the glue I had kind of got old on me, and it's not holding like it should. So I had to run to the hobby shop today and picked up a few things. I got some more medium gap filling CA, so hopefully I can get that finished on the engine. What else did because I use the Alclad paints on the flying wings, I'll be using their aluminum and different other metal colors. I like to use their airbrush cleaner, and I was getting low on that, so I picked up a new fresh bottle of their airbrush cleaner, so I can continue with that. And what else? I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe that's it. Well, I picked up some new sanding sticks. I've got so many different sanding sticks and whatnots. I don't think you can really have enough, can you? And then, of course, I do have this photo etch that I'll be using that is not specifically for this kit, but I think I said in the other video last week, all these kits are basically the same, so you can use it on all of them. And it's got a lot of good little details in there. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to point out, and I'm going to have to pull this chassis back out of the body to show you. This was something I was trying to figure out. So when I had the chassis frame in the body, where this door rail was supposed to be meeting the floor pan on the inside, I was having a little bit of a gap on the driver's side that I wasn't getting on the passenger side, and I couldn't figure out why. I was looking at everything real close. It was all positioned properly, but one thing I noticed, and I don't know if this is true on all of the kits, I'm imagining that it is, so I'm going to point it out to you, and it may be difficult to see. I've got some still photos I took that'll show it better, actually. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so let me start on this side. You can see maybe right here how this is sticking out just slightly further from this curved portion of the wheel well. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera stand. All right, you can see that, just that little bit of a bump out on this side. Well, when you look at the other side, and I've sanded this, but on this side, the curved portion of the wheel well was sticking out, and then the straight flat portion of the wheel well was in. So where this was sticking out, that was causing the body to not want to meet the frame. So it's like this whole, back out again. So it was like this whole forward portion of the chassis had shifted from the rear half of the chassis. And it had shifted, maybe a half a millimeter. Barely perceptible. But once I saw it, I could not unsee it. So you can see still here, you got a little bit of it protruding here, and then this was protruding out from the other side. So in essence, everything had shifted kind of this way a little bit. And I don't know that it was molded that way or what, but I have a feeling that all the kits have that same little bit of a misalignment. And in fact, I'm even looking now at the under frame. All right, see this rail versus this rail. This one is wider. Let's see, let me grab my measurement here. So that is, well, that's not the best. Yeah, it's about 1.5 millimeters, where this one is 2 millimeters for sure. All right, you can see that. So, yeah, there's a bit of a misalignment in the molding process, or the mold itself even. So just be aware of that if you're anticipating doing any of the modifications that I'm currently trying to do. You may get a little bit of a gap where the body is not fitting flush up against all of your chassis frame. All right, so that's this week's update. I wish I had more to show. I'm just really struggling at this time of year. Holidays, work, sun going down sooner, so it's darker sooner. It just automatically makes me think it's later than it is. Yeah. But I'm plugging along little by little. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I've gotten a few recent subscribers more. I'm not really trying to build my channel as big as some other people are. It's just one of those things, you know, but if you do like it and you've subscribed, and it helps the channel get seen by others that may benefit from, you know, what I'm doing or lately not doing. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a great week. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family and friends. And until next week, take care of yourselves. Peace and love, y'all.